Now, the #1 story of the week, President Biden plans to nominate Biniam Gabriel to lead the Office of Federal Procurement Policy. If the Senate confirms him, Gabriel would face challenges running the OFPP, such as hiring more acquisition professionals and making it easier to buy cutting-edge technologies. Angela Stiles is partner at Akin Gump. She's former administrator of federal procurement policy. Jim Williams is partner at Schambach and Williams Consulting. He's run acquisition operations at numerous government agencies and was the first federal acquisition commissioner at the General Services Administration. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Angela, let's start with you. What do you see as some of the biggest issues facing OFPP right now?
The most significant issues are really the Buy American Act and cybersecurity. They are critical to this administration, and I think critical to all of the agencies of the federal government, and figuring those out is the biggest task before OFPP, and really being a leader in those areas and navigating what the government needs and what contractors can provide and what's required of contractors.
So, Angela, as a former administrator yourself of federal procurement policy at OMB, what would be your top recommendations for Gabriel if he's confirmed in responding to those challenges that you just outlined?
So I think being the leader on procurement, what you found in the Trump administration is that the General Services Administration really took over as the leader in procurement. But that job should be at OFPP, in OMB, in the White House. But I would tell you the most important thing is to rely on the staff at OFPP. It's many of the same people that were there when I was there. They know this job. They know how to do it. There are just excellent people at OFPP and OMB, and trusting them to really help move this agenda forward.
And Jim, what do you think about top priorities and how he can address that?
Well, I think he's got a lot of reactive things, as Angela said, having to deal with the new Made in America provisions and looking at the challenges in cybersecurity. But I think there's challenges everywhere. You look at how this administration is trying to leverage that $600 billion to, at the very least, look at their top 4 priorities of, the pandemic, the economic recovery, climate change, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility. All of those are going to impact those $600 billion in procurement dollars. And I think you get that done through the workforce. The workforce is very important. I would agree with Angela wholeheartedly. The staff at OFPP, Leslie Field, Matt Blum, Joni Newhart, they've been doing a great job for years. And I think this is a very positive step for this administration, that they've nominated somebody this early. They've nominated somebody who's clearly smart as a leader, has private sector acquisition experience. So I think this is, great. And if you look at his LinkedIn post, who can't like somebody whose title is aspiring best dad in the universe to 2 ambitious daughters? So he's a very, very grounded person.
Well, let's go back to the workforce issues that you just mentioned, Jim, in how to hire so many acquisition professionals. What do you think of that, and what are the best ways to go about that?
Well, I think partnering with universities and being out there talking about an acquisition career. Both Angela and I have had careers in federal acquisition, and I loved it. And I think convincing young people, when they're coming out of college or veterans, to come into this. The VA has a great Warriors to Workforce program for training acquisition leaders. That ought to be leveraged government-wide. I think that's a great program. But I think there is an aging workforce here, and we're going to be losing a lot of the knowledge and leadership. But on the other hand, there's some great young people in acquisition right now who are future leaders. I see them in every federal agency, and so just leverage them.
So taking care of them too. I can't tell you how this pandemic and the contracting and the grants and the new programs and the amount of money going out the door has stressed the current acquisition workforce. That needs to be acknowledged. Their well-being needs to be taken care of. I would say if there's any workforce that is more stretched thin right now, it's that workforce. And to be a leader of those people, obviously Jim's so right, like we need to recruit people and tell them what an amazing world it is to work in acquisition, but also making sure those people are acknowledged and taken care of.
Well, Angela, the Biden administration has recently announced several initiatives, such as Buy American, you mentioned that before, supply chain security, helping small disadvantaged businesses. These initiatives fall under the OFPP umbrella. Do you think they are doable for the new administration, or do they go counter to the priority of speed and efficiency of getting these new technologies out?
Oh, I think there's an incredible tension between those two. You know, if you want it to be safe and you want the supply chain to be safe, it does push up against, you know, efficiency of the transaction, efficiency of the procurement, buying things commercial off the shelf. But frankly, at this point, I think the supply chain and the cyber issues are critical, and building our defense industrial base, which is really what the Buy American Act is about and what the Made in America executive order is about, are very, very important issues. And so, you know, the job of the administrator is to figure out how to make the right balance there and push forward with what we need as a country, but also being able to buy the technologies that help us run the country.
Well, we'll be watching this nomination move through the Senate. Thank you so much both for being on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.